take time, do what you're gonna do, and just smile, you're gonna see it through. Your wings are gonna sprout and lift you off the ground. No, take time, do what you're gonna do.
With a population of 42,000 people, that's the size of a typical town, and just 18 kilometres long and 8 kilometres wide, the tiny island of Rodrigues is just a speck in the Indian Ocean. Follow us as we share our experiences on Rodrigues, this jewel in the southern Indian Ocean.
Take time, do what you're gonna do, and just smile, you're gonna see it through, and your wings are gonna sprout and lift you off the ground. No, no, take time, do what you're gonna do, just smile, you're gonna see it through, your wings are gonna sprout.
After a long and tiring 11-day, 1,200 nautical mile passage from the Chagos archipelago, we finally arrive at Rodrigues. Compared to the wild waves we just experienced, it was great to take shelter in calm waters. We breathed a sigh of relief as we dropped anchor in the inner harbour waters of Port Maturin, capital of Rodrigues. Using Port Maturin as a base, we'll spend the next 3 weeks exploring this island. Port Maturin is the economic centre of Rodrigues, as well as its judicial and administrative centre, and has a population of around 6,000 people. It was over 3 weeks since we'd last shopped for provisions in Gran in the Maldives, and our supply of fresh fruits and vegetables had run out, so we were eager to visit the local market to replenish our supplies. Locals arrive early, even before sunrise, to have their pick of the best produce, and by 7 o'clock it was very busy. The markets are a family affair. While vendors man their stalls, their children watch and play. The market is not only for shopping, but also a social hub, giving an opportunity to catch up on the latest news around the island, and maybe the local gossip. And also it's a place for young friends to share grand ideas with each other. This young girl spotted Ron with his camera and quickly ran over to him, eager to see how it worked. Maybe a budding photographer, starting at an early age. Outside, additional stalls sold a variety of delicious jams and pastries and handicraft items. This charming lady sells organic teas made at her own organic garden in the countryside, and she even invited us to visit her farm.
And wish you all the best on our island here.
Teenagers who use market day to meet up would share a snack and flirt a bit before saying their goodbyes as well. As the market winds down, people start heading back to their home communities on the island, most often by local bus. The bus stop, located right next to the market, is not only the main hub for transportation around the island, but also a great place to people watch, especially as we waited for our next bus to visit some new place in the countryside. The bus service in Rodrigues runs well, with frequent services to key locations, cheap fares, friendly drivers, and even some positive happy thoughts painted on the outside of the bus. After reprovisioning, cleaning the boat and doing our laundry, it was time to explore the island, and one of our first places to visit was Point Cotton, located on the eastern shore of Rodrigues. While the bay itself was calm and peaceful, just around the corner waves crashed against the rocky shoreline with relentless power in a way that was mesmerising. To fully experience it, we braved the southeasterly trade winds and enjoyed an invigorating walk along the shoreline. Most of our day hikes were along the east and southeast side of Rodrigues, which gave us the best views of the fringing coral reefs surrounding the island. From Port Sud-Est, there's a great walk along several adjoining beaches, finishing at the small village of Petit Gravier. There aren't many restaurants in Petit Gravier, so after walking for a few hours, finding a small restaurant still open for lunch was a most welcome sight. Nearby, these school kids had just finished a school sports day and were politely lining up for their bus back to school. As we slept on the boat each night, after a day's exploring, we would generally catch a late afternoon bus back to Port Maturin to make sure we didn't get stranded somewhere. Our return trips often coincided with school children returning home from school, and they were just as curious and excited about seeing us as we were delighted to see them. Another hike along the eastern coastline is from Mount Capri down to the beach area of Saint-François, seen in the distance. It's quite dry round here, and we saw a number of cactus plants on the way. I wouldn't want to slip on the uneven path and fall into those thorns. Giant tortoises used to roam freely in Rodrigues, but sadly they became extinct hundreds of years ago due to sailors taking them for food. The tortoises at this wonderful sanctuary originate from the Seychelles, and their sanctuary here helps maintain the local biodiversity. The tortoises enjoy their heads being stroked, and although their thick shell looks extra tough, it's actually as sensitive as our fingernails, and they enjoy their shells being gently stroked too. This particular giant was the largest tortoise in the sanctuary and was well over 100 years old. With plenty of tortoises around, we all had a chance to stroke these lumbering, gentle giants, and also to see the breeding program in operation at this sanctuary. On that subject, but not part of the official program, not all the tortoises were interested in having their necks scratched. I would rate this tortoise A for effort, but F for technique. When Julian and I saw a 12-kilometre running race around Port Maturin advertised, we thought it would be a great way to see the local scenery. Only as the day got close did we realise that we'd signed up for a hilly mountain race, not the flat road race we'd envisaged. The locals took the race pretty seriously. The winners completed the race in around 90 minutes. Of course, each racer picked up the pace for the last 100 metres of their run to cross the finish line in style, some looking decidedly more tired than the others. Special races were put on for the children, who also took it all pretty seriously. Then finally, along come Julian and I, Julian with a sprained ankle. We'd walked much of the hilly course, and Ron had nearly given up waiting for us. The awards ceremony recognised some amazing running achievement, with enough awards going round for nearly everyone to receive one. Although the race was competitive, pitching friend against friend, it was all in good spirits, and once they were over the finish line, friends reunited and watched the awards together. I wonder, was it with some premonition of the race outcome that the podium winners were standing in the same order at the start of the race? Running is not just about fitness, but also about mental preparation. Contrast this incredible runner's focus and determination at the start of the race with her elation of being the first woman home. We were delighted to see her on the podium receiving her award. We were glad to have entered the race, and it gave us a chance to explore the Rodrigues countryside and experience the warmth of the local people, who themselves were quite tickled to have some foreigners join them for the day. By now it's mid-June, and we've been travelling together for over 4 months. As Colin's birthday approached, we planned a surprise lunch at his favourite restaurant, the excellent Hors de Frères, where by now we'd got to know the charming waitress. Everything on the menu is great, with my pick being traditional Rodrigues sausage. The birthday cake, made by Valerie, a local lady, was mouth-watering.
I like the music too. Oh, lovely. You win the medals. Huh? Where did it come from? They were organised.
No visit to Rodrigues is complete without a walk in Gran Nature Reserve, with its hiking trails offering views, tranquility and natural beauty. The reserve preserves habitat for rare native species and threatened plants. It also has huge spiders. Fortunately, they're harmless. As our time on Rodrigues was nearing an end, we made a last country walk around the viewpoint at Citron-Denis to admire the views and coastline once again. As we gazed at all the pristine marine environment and lush green hillsides, we were so glad to have included Rodrigues in our Indian Ocean sailing schedule. Returning back to Port Maturin in the afternoon, we found ourselves once more on a busload of delightful children returning home from school. All too soon it was time to leave Rodrigues for our next destination, Mauritius, which is only a 4-day sail away. Before departure we checked the mast and rigging to make sure everything was okay. This time it was Julian's turn. Julian uses a climbing harness as backup to the bosun's chair, which is secure and reliable. He went up and down the mast in no time at all. Well, maybe not quite that fast. As the weekly supply ship left harbour to return to Port Louis, Mauritius, this was our cue that it was time for us to leave as well.
Here's one for dreamers who took that step.
Subscribe to our channel and follow us as we continue our epic adventure across the southern Indian Ocean.
Here's one for misfits who broke the rules, who feared the boredom more than scorn or ridicule. You're scared to fly in the endless sky when the voices say that there's no way you'll ever make the grade. Let's say you try and you fall from high. When the sun is set, will you regret the fall or the times you did nothing at all? Here's one for magic that lives within.